Every day you see people more successful than you, they make more money than you, get more girls than you do, but everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. So what is it that these successful people are doing? They're utilizing their time more wisely. And in the past 3 years, I've done this in the realms of fitness, health, intelligence, and many more. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how I've done this in my own life and how you can apply this for yourself. So why would you work 9 hours for $100 when you can make that in 10 minutes? Why train 7 days a week for hours when you can train 2 times a week and get better results? So this is the full guide to getting more out of less. This all comes down to the Pareto principle, stating that 80% of the outcomes come from 20% of the efforts. It's the 80-20 rule. So focusing on the highest leverage inputs that will get you the highest return on investment. So these are the specific hacks that I use that get me the best benefits after a ton of experimentation. Will you agree with everything in here? Not necessarily, but I think there's a ton of value because I've experimented with every single thing that we're talking about in every single metric and way possible. So let's dive right into it with the first one being fitness. So I work out 2 times per week doing full body lifts. It is that simple. I go to the gym twice per week. Now, I'm not saying I don't stay active on the other days. I like to do things like hot yoga, rock climbing, just go for walks with my dog, just a bunch of things like that. But in terms of actual weightlifting, I only work out twice per week. Progressive overload is the key to making this work. Otherwise, you will not see progress. So you need to be progressively overloading. And here is the exact system that I've used. And once I discovered this, my gains went parabolic, and I started working out less and less and making more strength and muscle gains. So how it works is it's a progressive system from 10 to 15 reps using the same weight. So you'd pick a exercise, that you can do 10 reps with, and then you progress with that exercise and that weight until you get up to 15 reps. So for example, let's say you took incline barbell bench and you can do 135 for 10 reps. The next goal should be 11 or more reps on that next workout. Then you go 12, 13, 14, 15. Once you hit 15, you can pick another weight that's slightly more, maybe 5 to 10 pounds heavier. And then let's say you pick 145. Now you do 145 for 10, and you start the process all over again. It is that simple. If you stick to this, you will get huge. And you do this on all the compound lifts. So using the same lift is key. You need to pick, for example, if you're going to do deadlifts, pick RDLs, for example. That's my personal favorite. I don't do deadlifts. I do Romanian deadlifts. So you don't go all the way down. You don't slam the weight. You stay very controlled on the negative, and then you go up, once again controlled, but you never let go of the weight. I feel like this is the safest version to deadlifts. This builds the hamstrings, the glutes, the whole posterior chain really well. So that's one of my favorite exercises. I remember when I first discovered this system of doing less, that's when I actually got from where I was plateaued at about 225-ish, 235 on a good day, maybe slightly more, up to 295 in just 2 months' time by progressively overloading, or maybe 3 months. But it can genuinely happen that quickly, increasing weight about 50 pounds on one lift. So this is the system I used, and the reason it works so well is because you're having longer recovery periods, allowing you to hit constant PRs with new weights, and that's going to get you a lot stronger, and as a result, your muscles are going to need to grow bigger in order to accommodate for these new strength gains, and you're doing it in a very recovered, safe environment. You're not pushing yourself training 2 times a day, doing crazy amounts of workouts. That's where injuries happen. And if you want to stay in fitness for the long game, doing something like this and then throwing in, for example, hot yoga or just walks in the park or some other physical activities like hiking, rock climbing are going to keep you in the game much longer. You're going to enjoy the workouts more because you only get to do them twice per week. And as a result, I feel like everything has just gotten better. So just to mention the key exercises that I use, we already talked about the RDL. I do squats, whether it is personally, I'm not the best with form on squats, so I do box squats. So I'll get like a 14-inch box, go squat down to that, pause, and go back up. Or I'll do split squats, Bulgarian split squats with my foot on a bench with dumbbells. Those are my 2 exercises for squat. Pull-ups, I do weighted pull-ups on ring dips, or on rings, or the just pull-up bar itself. Bench, I like to experiment around with different types of inclines, so barbell or dumbbell. Dips, I do them on the weighted rings. I do them weighted on the rings. And then shoulder press, same thing, dumbbells or barbell. It depends on the phase. You can switch out the exercises. You just got to pick whatever is best for you in your current situation. See, I travel a lot, so not every gym I go to has the dumbbells I need as heavy, then I might have to use the barbells or whatever the situation is. But you stick to the same progressive overload system, and then once you feel you've maxed out that lift, for example, let's say I'm at pull-ups and, well, that's not a good example. Let's say I'm doing dumbbell bench and I get up to 80 pounds and I just can't progress past 8410. A smart thing to do at this point would be to switch out the exercise over to the barbell, say doing incline barbell now, challenging your muscles in a different way. That's one really great way to break through a plateau if you do ever get stuck, is then switching up the exercise. But you stick with that exercise for at least 3 to 5 months until you absolutely max it out, and then you can switch it up. That's pretty much what all the guys who are advanced are doing. So, and the way to keep it very simple is just to track this in your notes and just have like a checklist. For each exercise, you put the weight and the reps, and then you keep checking them off and increasing the reps and then increasing the weight. It's that simple. This is how I've hacked fitness, to only have to work out twice per week. Next is going to be health. 2 things that will result in the most health benefits is going to be fasting and eating nutrient-dense foods. So the idea behind this is not to give you all the science and the little details, but I do want to inform you that fasting increases testosterone, HGH, that's human growth hormone, improved function of every single organ, so your heart, your brain, your gut. It'll help you with cellular repair and even prevent cancer by killing off cancer cells. Fasting is the cheat code to keeping your health optimal. And then beyond that, the other thing that's really going to allow you to be super healthy is nutrient-dense foods. So grass-fed ground beef, grass-fed steaks, raw milk, salmon, chicken breast, rice, potatoes, avocados, raw honey, oats. Those are my main ones. That's pretty much what I'm eating on a consistent basis. That's allowing me to stay extremely healthy, have all the right nutrients. That combined with fasting is going to give you everything you need. And one of the things you need to consider is that not all calories are created equal. Eating these will allow your body to thrive. So if you're someone who wants to boost testosterone, if you want to make gains in the gym, you need to be eating the nutrient-dense foods. Without these, you're seriously lacking the proper things. If you think you're going to have a great health by just eating McDonald's and, sometimes trying to get your protein in, even protein shakes, I'm a huge advocate of not drinking protein shakes because that's just garbage. There's so much bullshit in them. Same thing with the protein bars. Now, I'm not saying I haven't had them occasionally, or if I'm traveling, I won't grab a protein shake or a protein bar just to get some in. But on a regular basis, that should not be your staples. Your staples should be the meats, milk, salmon, chicken, and then for the carbs, you have all those other ones, the healthy fats. That's what you need. You don't need that bullshit. If you get all your protein from these sources, I weigh 145 on a good day, probably closer to 140. So I'm pretty light, but I would rather take 80 grams of protein from grass-fed ground beef and raw milk versus 180 from just bullshit, protein shakes, the ones that the 40-gram protein core shake that has 40. If I ate some garbage and then drank 2 of those, I could get up to, a super high protein count for the day, but I would rather just have 80 grams of protein from these healthy sources. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference having been someone on both sides, having eaten junk food at a college dorm. I only went to college for a couple weeks before I dropped out, and I was trying to eat super high protein. I would have the mass gainer shake. I would have protein shakes throughout the day. I would eat the shitty food. They had these burgers. I would stack up on those, these patties, chicken patties, whatever it was. And I was trying to get as much protein as possible, and I felt like shit eating like that. But when I started eating this diet, my health just got 10x'd. And don't worry, we're going to dive into fasting right now, so we're going to go into it a little more in depth. So fasting. What I'd recommend is doing, if you're a beginner, one 24-hour fast per week, and that's going to give you all the benefits listed above and plenty more. You don't really need to worry about too much if you do one every week. I personally do one every third day. So here's how you're going to do it to make it very feasible and be able to actually incorporate it into your life. So you don't need to not eat the entire Monday, let's say. All you need to do is stop eating at 5 p.m. on Monday and then not eat until 5 p.m. on Tuesday. So your technical fasting day is on Tuesday, but you still get to eat. So it's not like you go without calories the entire day, but you still hit 24 hours of fasting. So you can eat a lot in those, let's say you go to bed at 10, those last 5 hours, you should be able to put down more than enough calories. Your gremlin, that's your hunger hormone, is going to be through the roof, meaning you can eat and then an hour later you'll still be hungry to eat more. So you can get plenty of food in during this phase, and then you got all the benefits from giving your body that break from eating and just really allowing it to heal, boost your testosterone, do so many productive things for you, and then you still get to have plenty of calories by the end of that day. And this is why I'm able to fast every third day, is because I do this system. So doing this still allows me to get about 2,000 calories in, even on a fasting day. And another tip is I would recommend drinking a ton of water during the fast. I probably drink sometimes anywhere from 1 to even 2 gallons. This is going to really help you deal with that hunger. It's going to ease it. It's going to make your stomach feel okay. And it's also going to allow you to eat a big meal when you first do break the fast. If you don't have water for a long time, I would normally get like a stomach ache if I broke the fast. So I try and stay super hydrated, keep water in the stomach, and really flushing out all the toxins. This is going to help you heal the body a bunch. And then one more thing that's super important is break the fast with nutrient-dense foods, the ones listed above. Do not get super hungry and then decide to go and have ice cream and all this junk food. Even if it's not the healthiest, still try and incorporate the healthy base foods. For example, yesterday I broke my fast with tacos, right? But it was grass-fed ground beef tacos, half a pound, and there was even some extra beef on the side. And then, of course, it had some of the toppings that weren't the healthiest. Mainly the most unhealthy one is going to be the sour cream. Cheese is not that bad. And then it had some lettuce and then the sauce on top, the red sauce, whatever that is. It's not the worst thing, but it was also not the best. But in a situation like that, I still had my half pound of grass-fed ground beef for the day. That's what I usually stick to, is about half a pound a day. So although it wasn't the healthiest thing, it wasn't like I was eating ice cream or junk food. I still got in the basis of what I needed. So that's what I'd recommend. And if you want to look like this is what I would recommend doing. You can also experiment with different, just a side note, different fasting windows. For example, I was doing at this point in my life, when you see this picture, the 1 24-hour fast per week, but also the warrior fast every other day, meaning I'd fast for 20 hours and then have a 4-hour eating window, maybe sometimes 5. And I'd usually eat from about 11 or 12 to about 4 or 5 p.m. and then stop eating and then resume the next day at about 11 or 12. So that, and then do 1 24-hour per week as well. This got me shredded. That plus just having an extremely, extremely dialed in diet with the foods listed above got me to the best, leanest physique of my life, having incredible strength, and I actually got really filled out as well. Here I'm looking a little depleted because I was actually backpacking for a couple days, so I'm pretty sure my muscles weren't the happiest about that, but when I was eating like normal, I was actually really filled out. I was super lean. I don't always stay that lean. It's not something I always go for. Sometimes I allow myself to be slightly more body fat, which is fine, but this is more about health and longevity, not just having a six-pack. So that's an important thing to note as well, that fasting is going to give you that insane health benefits beyond just being ripped. So money. How are you going to actually make a bunch of money? High income skills are the key to financial freedom. So I put this watch that I bought here. I also got it here just so you can see in the video here, because when I first made money online was when I took on a sales role. I got good at sales. It took me many failures, and then I did a mentorship, and then I had my first successful sales career, and I made $2,000 on my first day at the job. That allowed me to buy this Rolex for $18,000. So anything that's extremely valuable to a business or marketplace as a whole is going to allow you to get paid and get paid quickly. This could be sales. That's what I'd recommend, being that sales is the backbone of every single business. And when you're amazing, you'll never be broke again. So for me, going out of my way to learn sales was the most valuable thing I've ever done, being that communication is essential to having a good life. So that's one thing I'd recommend, but this could be anything. If you're an entertainer on YouTube or TikTok, you can do extremely well. Monetizing attention, yes. Monetizing attention is one of the most valuable things you can do. And if you're not good at sales, you're probably going to struggle at that. That's why I had to start with sales first. But, for example, let's say you don't want to be the face of something, but you know how to grow a YouTube channel. I'm working with a YouTube coach who I pay $1,000 a month to help me grow my YouTube channel. So, if you need someone to help you build your YouTube channel, that can be a skill set that you develop. So if you get good at any skill set that's valuable to the marketplace, like helping people grow their personal brands, you can make a lot of money and have monthly recurring revenue of $1,000, have 10 clients you're working for, that's $10K a month right there. If you develop a high income skill set, you will always make money. There's always going to be someone who wants to build their YouTube channel. And if you have a proven track record, you have fair prices, and you deliver on your services, you'll never be broke. And this is the same thing for sales. As we all know, you can easily get a sales job, and your income is dependent on your abilities. So if you're interested in sales, I would recommend remote high-ticket sales. This is going to allow you to have financial freedom while traveling the world, making money from your phone or computer, and it's the highest leverage sales role you can get, especially if you're looking in terms of freedom aspects. So that would be my recommendations for money. Intelligence. This is super important. Everything that you're seeing is all because of intelligence. It's not because I just went to the gym, right, and I have a good physique. You probably like me because, at first you see the success in terms of physique and money, but it all came from intelligence. Intelligence is the stem of everything that you're seeing on this channel, everything I've done, all the girls I've been with. It wouldn't be without intelligence. It wouldn't have been done without intelligence. So I'm going to give you the easy way to develop your intelligence beyond anything imaginable. And this is not what you're going to learn in school, and going and getting a college degree is not going to help you at all. I can promise you that. So it's just 2 simple steps. It's reading self-improvement books and implementation of the ideas learned. So reading gives you the author's entire life's knowledge on a subject in just a few hundred pages. Think about that for a second. I've been doing all the things I've done, right? And I teach on this channel. So one of the things I've done is I went out there and I cold approached girls, even when I was nervous, even when I was that shy, insecure kid. I built my confidence up and I went and talked to girls. Now it's in the hundreds, if not thousands. I don't even know. I can teach you so much about getting girls in just 3 years. Now think an author spent their entire life on one singular subject, and you're going to consume that in just a few hundred pages, which can take you anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks, depending on how long and fast you read. But now the key is that you need to actually implement those ideas, because you can watch a movie of, Jackie Chan doing Kung Fu. I don't know what martial art he does. And you won't necessarily be able to do that Kung Fu or kick someone in the head because you watched it on a show or a movie. You need to go out there and actually learn martial arts in order to be able to replicate what you saw. So now that you get this knowledge, you get this download from this book into your mind, you need to go and act on it. You need to apply it and develop your own personal experience. And this is going to give you the true knowledge and ingrain it into your mind. Without having done the implementation, reading is just kind of a hobby at that point. You'll have some ideas that you can utilize and pull up, at times that's going to help you out, and it will benefit your life. But without the implementation, you're not going to be intelligent, or at least highly intelligent. And why do something if you're going to half-ass it in the first place? So if you're going to do it, go all the way with it. So I would recommend that you really dive into every single book that you learn and try out all the ideas it gives you so that you can actually make rapid progress in your life. So subjects to study would be social skills, that's sales, communication, mindset, anything that has to do with mindset's going to be extremely valuable. That could be like discipline, habits, life values, like guiding principles, whatever that might be for you, anything like that, or just anything in your life that you want to develop or you're facing challenges with currently. And that's one of the best things that I've done is I've looked at, well, what are some of the challenges I'm facing right now or some of the areas I really need to improve on? And then I go out and find a book that will help me with that. And then at the same time, I'm applying and utilizing it in my life to improve on those areas that I need help with. And this has caused massive, massive growth, phases of growth for me. So you just got to read the nonfiction self-improvement books and apply them. And I've probably gotten past 100 books. I don't have an exact count. Over in the closet, I got 2 stacks that are like, it's hard to keep it in the frame here, but they're super high. And then I got all the rest of the books on my Kindle over there. So, I mean, I got so many books that I've read, so much knowledge that I've utilized and applied into real life. And this is where everything you're seeing comes from, but not just reading. It's implementation of all the ideas learned, going out and cold approaching and trying out the ideas I've read about, or trying out the social skills advice from How to Win Friends and Influence People or Captivate. You know, it's that on every single subject I've learned, and this is what's caused me to be 10x my intelligence from when I was just starting out 3 years ago. So, dopamine detoxing, this is super important. Dopamine detoxing is the biggest cheat code to enjoying life and making work enjoyable. An overstimulation of dopamine will lead you feeling like you constantly are chasing that higher high, and it's actually going to make you feel lower every single time you try and chase the high. So you're going to feel like you're lacking motivation, you don't have a proper reward system in place, and you're going to have a very addictive mindset, which is not going to help you at all. So it's not normal to constantly live on your phone, getting constant hits of dopamine from whatever it is, scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, if you're smoking weed, doing drugs, playing video games, watching porn. That is not going to benefit your life. And I'm not saying you can't play a video game once in a while with your friends, but it shouldn't be a habit. None of these things should be habits. And these things on occasion are not terrible. It's when you do them on a consistent basis that you have a serious problem, and even worse than that is when you stack them, meaning you just go from video games to porn to weed, and then you're just constantly getting dopamine from non-stop sources. That is when you have a serious problem. So when you dopamine detox and build it into a lifestyle, you're going to have better focus, more self-control, more motivation, less stress and anxiety, appreciation for the smaller things in life, and be more connected with the present moment. And if those things don't sound like they're that important, or you don't genuinely understand how much of a difference that will make in your life, let me tell you, it makes a world of a difference. So we're going to dive into the actual protocol now. What should you do if you want a dopamine detox and live your best life? Remove all social medias, unless you make money from them. And if you do, only produce, do not consume. I'd recommend setting a time limit so that you can only have time to produce, and then it cuts off, and then you can't use it anymore. So, for example, I don't have TikTok, I don't know all the apps, but I don't have TikTok and whatever. I do have Instagram, but I have a 5-minute time limit on there, so I can just produce and put things up and be a producer, but not a consumer. I have YouTube, but I would only produce on there once again, and I do consume, but it's consuming in a valuable way where I'm learning things. I'm not watching channels just for garbage entertainment. I'm watching, podcasts. I'm watching people who are actually giving self-improvement advice. You can constantly learn. I don't think YouTube is the worst social media platform there is. I think Instagram is terrible. It's also TikTok. If you're on those apps all day, that's going to mess with your brain. It's also just going to mess with how you feel as a person on a daily basis. So besides removing social medias, which is super important, one of the easiest vices to get caught up with, I would also recommend removing video games, porn, junk food, drugs, alcohol, and online shopping from your life. They pretty much provide zero value and just take away and don't give you much besides a vice, an easy escape from reality, which will never help you out in life. So now, what are you going to do with all your time? You're going to fill it with delayed gratification activities, which is going to be meditation, reading, journaling. That's my recommended morning routine for you. Beyond that, if you have free time, spend time in nature, go for walks, family time, board games like chess can be played or any other board game. Be bored, do self-reflection. It doesn't have to be a constant stimulation. Being bored is actually valuable for you. I'm going to tell you a story and then about that too. But beyond that, just do meaningful work. Be productive. Really try and think of what can I do that's going to actually benefit my life. What ideas have I had that I could use or actually take action on that I've been putting off? Should I start that YouTube channel and start posting now with my time? Or should I start that business? Or should I just try something instead of just distracting myself all day? So I want to tell you a quick story about my first dopamine detox. When I went to New York, I hit an all-time low 3 years ago after getting broken up with. I went to the mountains, I retreated, and one of the first things I learned was dopamine detoxing from Hamza, and it genuinely saved my life and put me on a path of just an upward spiral that everything kept getting better because of this one key aspect. So everything you see here is what I did. I deleted all social medias, cut all those things that you see right there out, all the instant gratification activities, and I started reading a lot. Just morning routine, and then throughout the day as much as I could too. I started meditating, journaling, and I was up in the mountains, like I said, so every day I would go into nature. I would go and do either short walks, long hikes, whatever it was. When my dad came to hang out with me, we would play chess at night. Every night we had a battle. It was a chess match, war. Every night we were so competitive and we're so evenly matched. So we were playing chess every single night. And there was been times when I would actually be bored. So I would just sit on the deck, look at the mountains with my journal for sometimes an hour or two and do self-reflection. Like I said, I came from a period that was an all-time low after a breakup. I'd also been consuming tons and tons of instant gratification activities. So I really came from a low point in my life, and it was just a lot of time for me to think, actually just be bored, not have anything to do, sit with a journal and just write and think and just look at the clouds. I remember just looking at the mountains and the clouds. I remember this like it was yesterday, just sitting there peacefully. And over time, just sitting and looking at the clouds started to become an entertaining activity. And I know for some of you that might sound crazy. For others of you that might sound amazing or peaceful. It all depends on your current situation and what your reality looks like right now. But this was genuinely a moment that I cherish looking back at it, because just being able to sit and look at the clouds and be very at peace with myself and feel content was an amazing feeling. And it all was a result of dopamine detoxing. I wouldn't be able to have done that if I was still playing video games all day, watching porn, eating junk food, smoking weed. It wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have that type of moment, and it's only going to come from dopamine detoxing. Dopamine detoxing shouldn't even be a thing that we have to implement. It should just be our lifestyle. We should just have a dopamine detoxing lifestyle. The fact that there's so many things that are constantly consuming your attention and doing serious damage to your mind should concern you. And if you're not dopamine detoxing at least a little bit and incorporating it into your lifestyle, then you have a serious problem. So you need to do this immediately. This should be your number one priority. So that was my quick story, but I hope you can understand how valuable it is to dopamine detox to the point where you can actually just enjoy the little things in life. And lastly, if you want to hack life, you need to get a mentor, because this is the easiest way to learn and rapidly improve your life. That's by working with someone who has already achieved the things you want. They can see exactly what you're doing wrong and help you get rid of any self-limiting beliefs you have and make years of progress in just a few months. So if you want my help with fitness, health, dating, self-improvement, creating a life elevation system to get you on a high frequency state every single day, if you want to ingrain new habits into your lifestyle, anything you've seen on my channel basically, then book a free 30-minute coaching call with me. The link is going to be down below in the description. On there, we're going to discuss your current life. We're going to go through all the aspects of it. We're going to build out your dream life, everything that you want to accomplish, and then we're going to give you actionable steps in order to do so. So if that sounds of interest, book in the call with me down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. All right, everyone, that's all for this video. Appreciate you watching to the end. Have a great day, everyone.